Breaking K-pop news. One name is at the center of attention. One event has sparked massive reactions from fans. What really happened? All the facts and the latest updates start right now.
What if a song recorded decades ago could suddenly feel brand new again? What if a familiar Christmas melody, already woven into global memory, returned with a different voice, a different generation, and an entirely new emotional weight? What if the most unexpected musical pairing of the modern era quietly crossed a milestone that many thought impossible in today's hyper-fast streaming world? And what if that milestone, 80 million streams on Spotify, was not driven by aggressive promotion or viral gimmicks, but by something softer, warmer, and deeply human? These are the questions now echoing across music communities as White Christmas by V and Bing Crosby officially surpasses 80 million streams on Spotify, a number that tells a much bigger story than statistics alone ever could. At first glance, the collaboration itself still feels like a riddle. How does a legendary voice from the mid-20th century stand shoulder to shoulder with one of the most influential artists of the 21st century? How does a song synonymous with black and white films, vinyl records, and old radio sets find renewed life in playlists curated by Gen Z listeners? And perhaps most intriguingly, why are listeners pressing replay not just in December, but long after the holiday lights have dimmed? The answer lies in a rare convergence of nostalgia and modern emotion, a meeting point where history does not compete with the present, but gently embraces it. White Christmas is not just a song, it is a cultural artifact. Originally popularized by Bing Crosby, the track has long been associated with warmth, longing, and the quiet melancholy that often hides beneath festive joy. For generations, Crosby's voice became the sound of winter itself, a soft snowfall in musical form. Yet when V, known globally as Kim Taehyung of BTS, entered this timeless space, something subtle but powerful changed. The song did not lose its soul. Instead, it gained another. V's voice, rich with texture and emotional restraint, does not attempt to replace Bing Crosby's legacy. Rather, it converses with it. There is a gentleness in his delivery that mirrors Crosby's calm while adding a modern vulnerability that resonates with today's listeners. This is not a flashy reinterpretation. There are no dramatic vocal acrobatics, no attempts to modernize the song beyond recognition. And perhaps that restraint is exactly why the collaboration works so profoundly. As streams quietly accumulated, fans began to notice something unusual. The numbers did not spike only during Christmas week. They grew steadily, month after month, suggesting that listeners were returning to the song not as a seasonal obligation, but as an emotional refuge. In an era dominated by fast-paced releases and trend-driven consumption, White Christmas behaved differently. It lingered. Crossing 80 million streams on Spotify is no small feat, especially for a classic holiday song reintroduced through a cross-generational collaboration. Holiday tracks often experience sharp rises and equally sharp declines. They are played obsessively for a short period, then set aside. But this version of White Christmas defied that pattern. Its growth felt organic, almost quiet, as if listeners were discovering it personally rather than being pushed toward it. For V, this milestone adds yet another layer to his evolving artistic narrative. Known for his deep appreciation of jazz, classical pop, and vintage aesthetics, V has often spoken, through interviews, music choices, and performances, about his admiration for older musical eras. His participation in White Christmas feels less like a strategic collaboration and more like a heartfelt homage. It aligns seamlessly with his musical identity, one that values mood, atmosphere, and emotional honesty over spectacle. For Bing Crosby's legacy, the collaboration represents something equally meaningful. It introduces his iconic voice to listeners who may never have actively sought out classic American crooners. Through V, a bridge is formed, one that carries Crosby's warmth into bedrooms, headphones, and late-night playlists across the world. This is not nostalgia frozen in time. It is nostalgia allowed to breathe, emotionally. The song's success speaks volumes about what listeners are craving right now. The modern world is loud, relentless, and often overwhelming. In contrast, White Christmas offers stillness. It offers permission to slow down, to feel longing without despair, and to find comfort in simplicity. V's involvement adds a layer of contemporary sensitivity, making the emotions feel immediate rather than distant. Fans have described listening to the song during moments far removed from the holidays, on quiet evenings, during solitary walks, or while reflecting on memories both happy and bittersweet. Many note that the duet feels like a conversation across time, a reminder that emotions like hope, loneliness, and warmth are universal, regardless of era. Social media reactions following the 80 million stream milestone were filled with disbelief and pride. Some fans expressed amazement that such a gentle track could thrive in the competitive streaming environment. Others pointed out the poetic beauty of the achieving success, not through chart-chasing pop formulas, but through a song rooted in tradition and emotional subtlety. There was also a sense of reverence, an understanding that this milestone belonged not only to V or his fans, but to music history itself. The Spotify achievement also highlights a broader trend in V's solo presence. His musical choices consistently lean toward mood-driven storytelling rather than mainstream predictability. White Christmas fits perfectly within that pattern. It is not designed to dominate playlists aggressively. Instead, it invites listeners in quietly, trusting that those who need it will find it. What makes this milestone even more remarkable is its cross-cultural impact. Christmas, while globally recognized, carries different meanings across regions. Yet the emotional core of the song, longing for warmth, peace, and connection, transcends cultural boundaries. These global influence amplifies this universality, allowing the song to resonate with listeners who may experience Christmas not as a religious holiday, but as a symbol of togetherness or reflection. From an industry perspective, the success of White Christmas challenges assumptions about what performs well on streaming platforms. It proves that songs do not need constant reinvention or aggressive marketing to endure. Sometimes, sincerity is enough. Sometimes, pairing the right voice with the right legacy creates magic that algorithms cannot predict. As the stream count continues to rise, one cannot help but wonder where the song's journey will lead next. Will it return every winter with renewed strength? Will it continue to find listeners in unexpected moments throughout the year? And most intriguingly, will this collaboration inspire more artists to look backward not out of nostalgia alone, but out of respect and curiosity? The 80 million stream milestone is, in many ways, a quiet victory. There were no dramatic countdowns, no viral challenges attached to it. It simply happened, as if the song itself decided when it was ready to be celebrated. And perhaps that is the most fitting outcome for White Christmas, a song that has always thrived on subtlety. By any end, this achievement is not just about numbers. It is about connection between generations, between cultures, between past and present. It is about the power of a voice to carry emotion across decades, and the courage of a modern artist to step into that history with humility rather than ego. When listeners press play and hear Bing Crosby's timeless warmth blend with these gentle modern tones, they are not just listening to a Christmas song. They are witnessing a conversation across time, one that has now been heard more than 80 million times on Spotify and counting.